We better.
And we can revisit our lessons from last week.
Oh, what was mine for previous week?
Hmm.
So I'm sorry I
Oh,
couldn't be here last week, but
okay. You were having far too much fun.
well, yes, God forbid. I'll do my lesson if that's okay. So this is from
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. So God is love, and you do want Him. This is your will. Ask for this, and you will be answered, because you will be asking only for what belongs to you. So I'm thinking that I had the complete opposite for these last 2 weeks. I won't go into detail, which is quite unusual for me, but yeah, I'm just going to say that it was the reverse. So I'm going to stick with that one again for this next time, and I'm going to really work on that this time now that the holidays and everything are all out of the way.
Awesome.
Interesting.
What was the Australian holiday this last week?
We had Easter weekend and then Anzac Day
Oh, I
as
thought it was
well.
that.
So
Anzac
yeah,
Day, 25th of April.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
my stepson's birthday as well. That's very cool.
Huh.
You can't forget it then, can you?
Nope.
Yeah. Who else wants to share?
Um, oh, so mine was, your brother may not know who he is, but there is a light in his mind that does know. I had a bit of resistance to the idea of the light being in his mind. I was sort of like, oh, but that's his whole self is the light. So there you go. I might just tweak that a bit. Well, I did tweak it a bit for myself. Yeah. Mm.
I'll
Gary?
share. Yeah, my previous week, I mean, the one from last week was remember that the Holy Spirit is in him and his love speaks to you through him, which is other people. And the one previous was what Linda had. God is love and you want him. This is your will. Ask for this and you will be answered. So they kind of go together a bit for me in my mind. I did much better the previous week than I did this week. I was driving around today because we're building a house and there's lots of stuff going on. And and I just didn't practice as much as I wanted to do. So I found myself getting very drawn to this one statement. I was on YouTube today because I get it on my phone, and whenever someone posts, especially this Buddhist monk, I go in and I listen to him. I wanted to share with you kind of this statement, which I think was really beautiful. It's fundamentally saying, like three things that we need to say when we awaken in the morning before we go to sleep at night. And it was the first one was gratitude, which is thank you for guiding me, protecting me, and blessing me beyond measure. The second one is a release or surrender. I release all fear, doubt, worry, and I trust in the divine order. And the third one was a statement of presence, which is God's power flows through me. I think, speak, and act within his divine authority. And I thought that was really beautiful.
Right.
And the hit that I got, which of course is so bloody obvious, is that we're trained in the Western culture to pray to something outside of us, but it's actually praying to that which is within us. It's making that statement to the God that is the essence of who we are. So we're praying inside our own sacred temple. And the thing that I think was most powerful is that by repeating those statements, that's how you start to program the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is literally the stepping stone to your soul. It's the channel, it's the pathway. So the more that you repeat these things, making that embedded into your subconscious, the more that that begins to be directed and influencing and uplifting your own vibratory resonance because you're aligned with God. So it's exactly like the Huna model, Veronica, that I taught for so many years. You know, there's the Uhane, which is a conscious mind, the Anili Pili, which is the subconscious, and then the Kane, which is the conscious mind. And everything goes through the subconscious.
Mm.
The more that we repeat those prayers, the tighter we get in our relationship with God, or the God within us.
Yeah. Makes so much sense because as well, you know, when they talk about prayer, you're not praying for something, you're praying for something that's already there. So, you know, it's within us already, so it's got to be there already.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's for me anyways, and I've known this forever, but it really hit me today that it is a paradigm shift to think I'm not praying to something outside of me or some eternal figure somewhere in the universe. I'm praying to the light and the love of God that is me, animating, and to further awaken and align me to that. That's what I'm praying for. And to that's a big difference to walk around thinking I am God incarnate and I am aligning myself with that divine power to act through that light into the world. That's very different. Just don't go into in church and go, I am God. Not recommended. Not recommended.
Love it. Mine was God's faith in me cannot be shaken, therefore I have faith in me. Listen to others for their Holy Spirit and soul. And that first part definitely relates to what you're saying, Gary. God's faith in me cannot be shaken, therefore I have faith in me. And I have been checking in with that. And whenever I make a decision, regardless of how little or how, in fact, it's better when there's no thought. It's just like, this is what I'll do. I'm picking an oil today. Oh, I should pick that one. No, but this is the one I've actually gone for. So that is the right one. Don't question. Don't question. Don't doubt. Just go with whatever comes up first.
Yeah.
I have been challenged with the last bit. Listen to others for their Holy Spirit and soul. Sometimes that's been a bit difficult, but
like daily.
yeah. Yes. Yes.
We all have that.
Yeah, that's the tricky bit. Right, shall we get started on our reading?
Yes.
Last week we ended with number 6 and it was so beautiful. I think we should do that again. Can we do that again?
Sure.
Yeah.
You want me to start?
Yes, please.
Number 6. You can no more pray for yourself alone than you can find joy for yourself alone. Prayer is the restatement of an inclusion directed by the Holy Spirit under the laws of God. Salvation is of your brother. The Holy Spirit extends from your mind to his and answers you. You cannot hear the voice for God in yourself alone because you are not alone. And his answer is only for what you are. You will not know the trust I have in you unless you extend it. You will not trust the guidance of the Holy Spirit or believe that it is for you unless you hear it in others. It must be for your brother because it is for you. Would God have created a voice for you alone? Could you hear his answer except as he answers all of God's sons? Hear of your brother what you would have me hear of you, for you would not want me to be deceived. Well, I understood that way better than I did last week.
All right, I love that. I've actually written that out. And so I can read it in my journal.
I sort of heard that somewhere else this week, and I was listening to this thing of people talking about the Course in Miracles, and this guy was saying that he'd been in a group and they said, like, pick a friend and write out everything you like about them on one side of the bit of paper, and everything you don't like about them, everything that annoys you, write that on the other side of a piece of paper, and then cross out their name and put me,
Mhm.
which I thought was good. Like, yes.
That's a great exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jerry's making notes.
I love that exercise.
Can I ask, I think it's the third sentence in, salvation is of your brother. I'm not sure that I understand that. Prayer is
Salvation of your brother.
salvation is of your brother. So second sentence is prayer is the reinstatement of inclusion directed by the Holy Spirit under the laws of God. Salvation is of your brother.
Well,
Right?
how I read it. Does anyone else want to speak? Veronica, you
There
want
you
to?
go.
What I get from it is that this is why I've interpreted the whole sentence, is that we're if we have the ears to hear, we're hearing God's words or God's advice or God's message to us through the relationships that we have all around us. And that if we have the ear to hear it without judgment, that's where salvation is. It can also be interpreted as if I am looking at my brother through the eyes of the Holy Spirit, that is my salvation. Because if I'm not condemning and I'm accepting all that is, then I've entered that state of seeing oneness. I can't do that alone. I have to do it in community with others.
Okay.
Mm.
V, do you get something different?
Oh, that's beautiful. That's very helpful. Salvation is of your brother. For me, that does kind of mean like all of this is about how you're treating people around you, not and how you treat yourself. For me, that has been the first thing. Is like I've got to be kinder to myself, but that has to extend to every interaction I have.
Mhm.
Mm.
Because God's just not talking to me, he's talking to everybody. And he's talking
That
to
is
me
it.
through through my interactions with other people. Hi, Jane.
Hey, Jane.
Are we happy with number 6 then? Any other
Yeah.
questions on? You okay with that one, Linda?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a beautiful paragraph, though.
Yeah. Okay, number 7. Who wants to read number 7?
Oh, well.
Go, Coralie.
I love you for the truth in you, as God does. Your deceptions may deceive you, but they cannot deceive me. Knowing what you are, I cannot doubt you. I hear only the Holy Spirit in you, who speaks to me through you. If you would hear me, hear my brothers in whom God's voice speaks. The answer to all prayers lies in them. You will be answered as you hear the answer in everyone. Do not listen to anything else, or you will not hear truly.
Wow.
Definitely hammering that home, isn't it?
Yeah.
Be lovely.
Mm.
I mean, think about it. If we were to truly walk around in our life and everyone we knew in their conversations to us, we viewed it as a message from the Holy Spirit or from God, all of our judgments would cease. We would be
Mm.
so curious about what is actually being spoken to us or displayed to us through our brother's words or their actions. That suggestion is a really incredible way to get off a judgment.
Yeah. Yeah. This is definitely a graduation from everything. For me, it feels like a graduation, and it's another level completely. Like, this is definitely like hammering home how you treating others is just so important to how we see ourselves. And
Here's my
it's so beautiful
daughter.
because I feel like so much of this has been about self-love, and now it's like, okay, time to extend. It's time to extend that. So that we can walk hand in hand with our brothers and sisters. Jane can't hear you. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Here
can you hear me?
we go. Got you now.
Okay. That kind of reminds me of the phrase, physician, heal thyself.
Mm.
A doctor or a nurse are so good at taking care of others, prescribing. But what about your own backyard? Um, how healthy are you? How fulfilled in life are you? Well, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't go outward. And so, yes, fill your well. Um, and I think also one of the ways to fill your well is simply not to blame others, not to the condemnation, the judgment, and so on. We don't see that as taking, we're kind of blind to what the minus category, where it comes from. Hey, how did I get in the red after all? Well, would you like to take a look? So, yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
Are we happy with number 7?
Mhm.
All right. Shall I read number 8 since I'm not muted? Believe in your brothers because I believe in you, and you will learn that my belief in you is justified. Believe in me by believing in them for the sake of what God gave them. They will answer you if you learn to ask only truth of them. Do not ask for blessings without blessing them, for only in this way can you learn how blessed you are. By following this way, you are seeking the truth in you. This is not going beyond yourself, but toward yourself. Hear only God's answer in his sons, and you are answered.
So that kind of ties in with salvation is of your brother too, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I've just had an answer for how, a bit of a conflict I'm having with someone. They will answer you if you learn to ask only truth of them. So it's about having the authentic conversation, isn't it?
I want to add another dimension to that, what you just said. It says here, do not ask blessings without blessing them, for only in this way can you learn how blessed you are. So part of it, I think, is also, yes, a thin conversation, but to quietly inside yourself ask to hear God through their messaging and bless them first. Like send a blessing to them or prayer for them, and then perhaps you can hear what the message is more from them.
Beautiful.
And it says, believe in me by believing in them for the sake of what God gave them. I guess that's kind of like seeing the perfection of them rather than, and what I mean by that is, I had this thought the other day, is looking at people as if they're in the perfect place at the perfect time with the perfect parents and the perfect set of circumstances to mold their soul to be either entrapped or free, and neither one of them really matter. If you viewed them all as neutral, all you'd be doing is giving a blessing for the perfection of this great matrix without judging it or condemning or any of that. I think maybe that may play a part in it as well.
Mm.
Can I just quickly read you a very short thing that a friend sent me? Now, she's a new friend. I've known her since I've moved to the York Peninsula, and we just seem to, she's 20 years younger than me, but we just seem to get on like a house on fire. And as you were saying that, it just made me think of what she sent me this morning, which is that one friend that never drains your social battery, no filter and no gatekeeping. You can share anything with her knowing you will never be judged. Which made me stop to realise that perhaps I did fulfill 2 weeks ago my little sentence. So it's interesting that just the way you're putting it into perspective, Gary, with what you said. How differently you see yourself when you're around other people, but they see you quite the opposite way, perhaps, or in a different way, not so much opposite.
Yeah.
Mm.
A friend that never drains your battery.
Mm. So you're not always. It's a two-way conversation rather than it just being a one-way conversation. Oh, this happened to me, blah 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 blah. Instead,
Yes.
it's a
Okay.
more mature
Gotcha.
conversation, I guess.
Right. I got it. Yep. Thanks for sharing.
I
Mm.
just thought it was a really lovely, just a really lovely thing to send randomly.
It is actually.
Yeah. Mm. So we go on to number 9, and I'll move the page up a little bit so it's not at the bottom. Here we go. Who wants to read number 9?
I vote Jane.
Me and my spring allergies here.
Oh.
Okay. To disbelieve is to side against or to attack. To believe is to accept and to side with. To believe is not to be credulous, but to accept and appreciate. What you do not believe, you do not appreciate, and you cannot be grateful for what you do not value. There is a price you will pay for judgment, because judgment is the setting of a price. And as you set it, you will pay it. Wow. That just said a whole lot.
Mm. And while that was being read, who was thinking of a specific thing that's happened with them that relates exactly to that?
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
If there's not
The
a
price, oh, I was just going to say, the price will then be set high because of the value of the return.
Mm.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I went ahead. Let's rewind that.
I think we should reread it, quite frankly, because
Yeah.
there's something profound in that. I'm looking, I just got this
Yeah.
email this morning, well, no, late this afternoon, from a person who said, I've got all these contracts in Texas. I want to introduce this to all these city establishments and all the firefighters and police departments and all that. And these cities she has contracts with in Texas. And then for a year, nothing, like nothing, no word. I felt ghosted. She emailed me this morning. She said, I actually have a contract that we can beta test. And here I was, I won't say the whole time, I'm just surrendered. It's all perfect. I'm not even going to think about it. Um, but in that context, those of us that are entrepreneurs, in that context, do you realize how important this little statement is? The price you will pay for judgment, because judgment is the setting of a price. And as you set it, you will pay it. Meaning that if you're looking at your life from the perspective of like the cup half full, or you're looking at it through scarcity, or you're disbelieving that there's a power moving you forward with grace and certainty, and you disbelieve that, then you pay the price for your disbelief.
Yeah.
That statement right there is so profound. Is everybody getting it like I'm getting it?
Yeah, it's a great
Absolutely. It's
paragraph.
knocking me out.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I have to write that whole thing down. I
It's
do.
it's on page 165 as well.
What was that, V?
It's on page 165
Oh, yeah.
of the actual text.
Yep.
That is one of the best reframes I think I have ever read or heard about living your life in absolute surrender.
Mhm.
I agree. I agree. I think as a world society, we're so almost comfortable with the judgment and criticism that goes on. And we even look for people as authority figures in their judgment. And, there is a price you will pay for the judgment, because the judgment is the setting of a price. Wow. It's like so pervasive.
Well, people are so disenfranchised from their core, from alignment to themselves, that they seek authority outside of themselves because they won't claim themselves as the authority in their life.
Yes.
And that's where so many people become misled, disillusioned, and they approach through multiple disappointments in giving their power away. They just become bitter and resentful and suspicious of everything.
Mm.
Oh.
I've been seeing a lot of things talking about setting intentions and what do you want, and planning out your future kind of thing. And I used to be huge on that. And when I'm asking myself these questions now, I come up with my value statement. It's like a mission statement, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
There's no money in there,
Mm.
but it's pure wealth to actually have that, to live by that statement, to live by my values is true
That's when
wealth.
you stay aligned to yourself and you grow stronger.
Yeah.
I think people, at least people I'm working with currently, they're comfortable in their fear, like because it's so familiar, and they keep looking out of their eyes into the world, and it's a fearful world, and they live it as a fearful world, and they continue to think that living in fear is normal, and that they're alone and isolated, and there's not really anything to lean on or depend on. Therefore, their fear just increases.
Mm.
Most people are living there. I think Dr. David Hawkins did in his PhD study on the energetics of humanity. He said that, was it 97? It's either 97 or 95% of all humanity lives below the resonance of 200, which is fear, anger, jealousy, more fear. That's where most people are existing, in that vibratory resonance of those emotional states. So there's very few people that are living in that, that last 3% of a higher vibration. Is that like Christ is like 500? Most people are living under 200, which is interesting.
Mm.
So glad I'm at 475.
Oh, but
I will
Linda,
accept that as the truth for you, Linda.
Yes.
but
I
you
will
dropped down
aspire
from
to come to your mark.
485. Mhm.
Who wants to read number 10? I think we're back to you, Gary.
Oh, I'm still writing. Could someone else do it?
Yeah, sure.
I'll do it. I haven't read one yet, I don't think, have I?
Oh, haven't you? Cool. Excellent. Number 10.
If paying is equated with getting, you will set the price low but demand a high return. You will have forgotten, however, that to price is to value, so that your return is in proportion to your judgment of worth. Oh, we're going to have to talk about that sentence.
Yes.
If paying is associated with giving, it cannot be perceived as loss, and the reciprocal relationship of giving and receiving will be recognized. The price will then be set high because of the value of the return. I feel like I'm in school again. The price for getting is to lose sight of value, making it inevitable that you will not value what you receive. Valuing it little, you will not appreciate it and you will not want it. Oh my God, it's like opening up a maths textbook, isn't it? I don't understand a bloody
Economics
word of
101. Economics 101.
that.
Supply and demand.
Well, how many of us have strived for something? We obtain that thing, whether it's a beautiful car or a beautiful house or whatever it is, we strive for it, we get it, and then we're like totally bored with it after
Yeah.
about 2 years. I
Mm.
love that one statement. You pray for years to have a lover come into your life, and then you pray for another 10 years to make them go away.
Oh, I shouldn't laugh so hard. I can equate this to how I've been running my business now, or how I run it now, rather than like I do ask a high price now, but I actually value the services I give now. And it's only in alignment with those who see the value as well, and that's okay. Whereas before, when I started, I would judge them and say, oh, look, they can't afford that, so I'll drop my price. And then I can't provide the value that I wanted to initially because I'm working for free.
Yeah.
I didn't value myself. I didn't value them because I didn't see that they would appreciate the value, I could see the need, but I didn't think that they would accept the value that I could provide. And so it all kind of fell apart. But now I've just sent out an invoice yesterday. I sent an engagement letter out, like that'll be $1,000 and that'll be $1,000. So it's $2,000. Engagement letter came back straight away. I would have charged half that before.
UV. For you.
I didn't question myself, and they didn't question because of that. They trusted in me and they know it'll be worth it.
You are worth it, V.
Thank you. We all are. Do we need to go through that one, or can we ignore the economic side of it and just trust that we know what that means?
Well, I do have a big question mark next to that paragraph, but it's only my own because it's so totally different, I guess, to the last few paragraphs that it's so intense. It's too early in the morning to be intense.
It does bring back memories of school, doesn't it? This is the kind of paragraph you'd see in them. Yeah.
But there was no talking about it back at school. It was just do it.
Yeah.
Okay. If paying is associated with giving, it cannot be perceived as loss, and the reciprocal relationship of giving and receiving will be recognised. Okay, well, that makes more sense to me for that whole paragraph.
Go ahead and read it again, Linda. I think it would be useful.
If paying is equated with getting, you will set the price low, but demand a high return. You will have forgotten, however, that to price is to value, so that your return is in proportion to your judgment of worth. If paying is associated with giving, it cannot be perceived as loss, and the reciprocal relationship of giving and receiving will be recognized. The price will then be set high because of the value of return, of the return. The price for getting is to lose sight of value, making it inevitable that you will not value what you receive. Oh my God, I'm just underlining everything here. Valuing it little, you will not appreciate it and you will not want it.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. Hmm.
B, you want to give that a go and elaborating on that?
Um, if paying is associated with giving, it cannot be perceived as a loss. So I so for the example that I had before of how I used to run my business, I would discount my price because that's how I perceived my value. I discounted my own value. I didn't think it was worthwhile, and therefore the client didn't either.
Yeah.
And now this paragraph definitely provides to me that I know I'm providing a really good service, and I'm adding a lot of value. And because I appreciate my value, others now see that and will reciprocate in the transaction, in the relationship.
And can I just add to that from a personal, so from rather than from a business, but from a personal, and that sentence is great. If paying is associated with giving, it cannot be perceived as loss, and the reciprocal relationship of giving and receiving. So as we do, we give anyway because we're here to serve. Well, that's how I see life, not expecting anything in return. And when you actually do that, the relationships with those people are quite different to the ones who want to take all the time, and they're only taking because they are living in fear. And I don't know how, well, yeah, I don't know how you can stop people from living in fear if they're watching the news or listening to the radio and all this fear is just being given to them anyway. But if we continue to give without losing our own worth, then all those relationships around us will be quite different. Does that make sense, or have I just burbled my way through that and wasted a whole 5 minutes?
No. I would like to add something to that, though. Um, to disbelieve is to, and I'll go back to that one paragraph. So if we're looking at someone that is disproportionately what was the word that you used, Linda? Is like, oh God, I can't remember what you said. Doggone it. Mm. I better not comment because I was related to something that you had said and I can't remember what you said, so I can't tie it together. Sorry.
That's okay. No, that's fine, because it's actually opened up another pathway anyway, hasn't it? Really, because there is the business side of things, which when we are in business, to be able to relate it back to that. And I really loved what V said about the whole
Mhm.
value.
Yeah.
I think that if we need to look at it from our own personal side as well, because therefore that will automatically fall over into our business side. So if we're actually looking at it from our core of the person that we are and our values and the giving and the not judging, that will automatically fall into our business. Yes?
I think I know what you mean, Linda, is because it's a lot easier to do it in business. You have a transaction that you're going to agree on a value.
Yeah.
But personally, yeah, there are people who the energy vampires, and it's like, so okay, so I can't call them energy vampires, I can't judge them. However, I still need to discern who I'm going to
Do business with.
allow into my life and how
Oh,
much.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we do on a personal level anyway. But it's
Yeah.
taken, I know for myself, it's taken me, well, up until I was 50, well, I'm 60 now, but up until I was 50 to actually realize that I didn't need all of these people around me who were just sucking the life out of me and telling me things that was getting my head confused, and therefore I was walking away from my own values. So if on a personal basis we're doing that anyway, I think it helps make it clearer in our business to say, okay, well, I don't actually need that, but I do want to go with this.
Yeah. So you can still love them from afar.
Yeah,
And to
absolutely.
also recognize the God in them helps hopefully to recognize the God in yourself.
Yeah.
Is that what we're trying to do? So if you recognize the God in yourself, then the people who are sucking energy from you, it just wouldn't happen because you know your own value.
Yeah.
Well, up on number 9, it says, to believe is to accept and to side with. To believe is not to be credulous, but to accept and appreciate.
Mm.
And but that does not mean that we don't have boundaries. We can accept a person, we can accept that they're not the client for us. We can accept that we feel a certain energy around them, and that is perceptual or it's energetic that we're feeling from them. And if we don't feel like accepting them as the client, we don't. I've done
Yeah.
that several times in the last couple months where I'm like, nope, I don't want to work this hard. I know they're going to be, what's the word? They won't follow through with what I will request for them to do. Consequently, they will go into a place, at least my evaluation and my experience was that they will go into a place where they will eventually drop off or just become non-communicative. And I don't want to feel like my best work just went down the toilet
Mm.
because the client won't fully engage. And that isn't a judgment. That's discernment. That's not being like it's unicorns and rainbows. It's discernment about where I want to put my energy. I can believe in the perfection of where they are. I can believe that they're in the perfect place at the perfect time. And whatever this time is, isn't for them to necessarily evolve out of yet. It's for them to stay where they are. So I can do that without judgment, but then I don't have to accept everyone
Mm.
um, into my coaching practice
Yeah.
or into my student body, where I've had people call me and say, Gary, could we do this and this and this because I really want to do this training? And I'll go, no, we're not going to do that
Mm.
because they're not showing up. They're not showing up to be accountable or responsible.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for them.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to leave that one there because it's almost 9 o'clock or here. It's almost the top of the hour. And my lesson is they will answer if you learn to ask only truth of them.
Hmm. Hmm.
Carly, you look like you're ready.
Yeah. My one is I love you for the truth in you as God does.
Beautiful.
Mine is There is a price you pay for judgment is the setting for, wait, I'm sorry. There is a price you pay for judgment is the setting for a price. And as you set it, you will pay it.
Mm. Jane,
Yeah. When I know my value, I probably know your value too. And that is the peace of God.
nice.
Nice.
Linda,
So right at the beginning, I said I was going to stick with the last fortnight's one. But really, that little thing that I read out to you that my friend sent through to me makes me think that I have achieved that. So mine is the same as Coralie's. I love you for the truth in you as God does.
beautiful. Oh, okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll
Thank
report
you.
back next week.
Okay, see y'all later.
Wonderful.
See you
Send us a
guys. Have a
week.
great week.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
Bye-bye.